Hey guys, this is Comic Can, and I feel like in a lot of ways I used to draw better. I used to have the time to really dive deep into an illustration and lay out every line that I wanted to get just right so that the picture would come out the way I wanted it to. I had the time to study and look at other people's art and figure out how exactly are they doing what they're doing and how can I replicate that. And that would be the most fun thing that I would do in learning how to draw. And that's why I felt like back then I would draw a lot better than I'm currently drawing. Whereas now I'm a professional, so I'm doing things, I'm drawing in a way that it's like, I gotta get it done fast, and it doesn't really matter how everything looks, it only matters how it comes together as a whole, if that makes sense. Like, I know how to do the exact details of, let's say, how to do a background or how to draw a car, but I can't draw it all the way. In fact, if I'm gonna use a car in a comic, I'm gonna have a 3D model. I'm not gonna break out the rulers and the French curves and draw the whole car, every single panel whenever I need to do a vehicle. I'm just gonna do the quickest method that I can find so that I can get this comic out. The individual car or the design of the car doesn't matter. If I was a car designer, I would be drawing the hell out of that car. I would be breaking out colored pencils. I'd be doing it like a industrial designer. I would be drawing it like an industrial designer, but I just don't have that time, and I'm not specifically that category of artist. As a comic artist, the main things that I'm focused on is storytelling content. I'm focused on storytelling art, and that means that I don't have to draw everything to the best of my ability every time I sit down to draw on the page. I am picking and choosing which things need to be drawn the best or drawn really well, and which things can just be kind of shafted to the wayside and doesn't need to be seen. It'll only be glanced at for a moment on the page. There's a panel in issue 2 of my comic Air Rider that I spent like 2 weeks, and this was back when I had unlimited time. I spent 2 weeks on and off trying to draw it in 3-point perspective. It is this panel right here. And I have a friend named Rashid Oduro at comic conventions who is always asking me to see the underlying work of when I drew that panel, because he just is in love with the way that it came out on the page. And he's an artist, so he'll appreciate the details and the work that went into drawing something in that way. But readers don't give a damn. Like, they'll just look at that and just be like, all right, well, what's the story? Like, they'll gloss over it and just go to the next thing. They don't care, man. And that's the kind of thing that over time I've had to come to terms with. I've had to like understand more and more that it's like, okay, people don't really care exactly how you're doing this. Only other artists really care that your panel is in 3-point curvilinear perspective. Like, only other artists know the pain that went into creating something like that. So you can draw for other artists or you can draw for your readers, and it's a tough choice to make, but you have to focus more on the readers. Do the art that makes you happy when you have the time to do it, but if you're pressed for time, you just gotta convey story information, and use the best of your abilities that are on the tip of your mind. And that's how I was with Saintly in terms of when I was doing the pencils. I was just going as fast as I possibly could. I did all the pencils, or at least the basic sketches of each page of 31 pages in a week. I was doing 4 pages per day, just penciling, trying to get as much done on the page, as much character information on the page as I possibly could, so that I would have a general outline of what I could ink later on. And then once I had good enough drawings for the comic page, I was able to ink in the characters and then worry about the backgrounds later. If I was doing this like a professional comic book artist, the way that I was taught in the Kubert School, I would draw every single character, draw their shadows, I would draw the backgrounds in perfect perspective and put all the details in it, and then go over it with ink, lavish it with the ink that I'm using and make it look perfect. And then I would color it with the perfect flats and then bring it to life with perfect rendering. It would be a slow process, and it would take 5 years to actually make the first issue, but it would look beautiful. And that's the thing I can't afford to do. I can't afford to make things look super beautiful anymore. It's like I can bring it up to a good level of finish. I can bring it up to an exciting level of finish that looks interesting, that looks amazing to the eye for readers and for other artists. But I can't put as much detail as I used to do with Air Rider 1, Air Rider 2, and 3, which took me each like a year to do. And those were just me like working on and off on the side. I wasn't doing it intensely trying to meet deadlines with it. I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna figure out a point where I can get a decent working schedule in so I can do this on a consistent deadline. But it just didn't work out that way. I was just like going at it over time, and they came out to be like pretty decent looking books, but it still took time to even get it to that point. With Saintly, it was a lot faster in terms of the production time, and I was focusing on it intensely. With Air Rider, it was more like I had the time, and it was my first comic, so I was trying to figure out storytelling at the same time that I was drawing. So with Saintly, I have a little bit more of a hold on storytelling, and the thing I'm most excited for with Saintly is seeing how this first chapter is going to look compared to the final chapter of this graphic novel series that I'm doing. So it's like, okay, how is it going to look from chapter 1 to I think around chapter 12, where it's planned to be like the final chapter in this book, like this graphic novel. That's the thing I'm most excited for. It's going to be an interesting way to see my own art evolution and see how I improve over time. So hopefully I can increase my speed like tenfold this year. That's what my main goal is. I want to increase my speed exponentially. If to be honest, like if I could do a challenge to myself, it would be to get 100 pages or more done this year with Saintly, like fully colored, fully rendered, fully lettered, 100 pages or more. And if I could find a steady rhythm, 200. I want to create as many pages as I possibly can this year. I want to push myself to draw as much as I humanly can, just to see what I can actually produce when I do nothing but draw. And I'll still try to do life and live on the side and go to work. I'm going to work tomorrow, but my goal is to draw as much Saintly content as I possibly can this year, and to push my art and my writing to the highest level I possibly can, to make this a good showing for my first created, published work that isn't just my webcomic Air Rider. I want to show people what I can actually do with my comic before I start trying to like teach or show other people how to do stuff. Like, I know a lot about story writing and storytelling, but Saintly and Air Rider are my proof that I know what I'm talking about, and I can actually create a story that people will connect with. So if you want to check out what I already currently have in terms of the writing of Saintly, you can check out the link in the description. There you'll find Saintly. It is a Demon Chase horror action comedy about two best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. There you'll find the black and white version of Saintly that is fully lettered, but I still have some revisions to make now that the colors are complete. So that is what you'll find in the link in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.